The first time you hear God's voice, it is for obedience. It contains an instruction. The purpose of God's word is to create change in you and in the world around you. Obedience produces change. Principles activate and govern the promises. Your obedience to God's word triggers events that bring you blessing. Your disobedience to God's word triggers events that brings ruin. The second time you hear God's word in the echo is for God's blessing. Abraham hears God's voice, and God says to Abraham, take Isaac, your only begotten son, your son, and place him on an altar. Don't talk anything about blessing there. Why? Because God's word's coming to him the first time, and it deals with obedience. Abraham, here's what I want you to do. Man, I got some great things that I want to do in your life. I got some great things. You're to be a father of many nations. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do. You're going to take Isaac. You're going to take him to the top of the mountain. You're going to take the wood for fire. You're going to take the stones to create the fire. You're going to take your son. You're going to lay him on the altar, and you're going to sacrifice him. What is Abraham to do? Well, the first call of God's word is for obedience. He obeys God. Greater than him obeying God would be Isaac. Isaac's older. He's a type of Christ. We believe he's somewhere around 33 years old, like Jesus. This is a picture of Abraham the father and Jesus the son, Jesus being willing to go to the cross. I find it amazing, but if my father said to me, I'm going to sacrifice you, I would have been like, listen, you're nuts. But he willfully agrees with this. But the story's not over here. The second time he hears his voice, what does he hear? He hears God say, stop. And when he hears him say, stop, the blessing happens. There's a ram caught in the thickets. He would have never found the ram caught in the thickets. He would have never become the father of many nations until he first applied to the obedience portion in order to get the blessing portion. Does that make sense? When I go to the valley, the first time I hear God's voice is for obedience and instruction. The second time I hear it is for blessing.